We can't live without food. Food is a natural fuel, thanks to which we move, breathe, and at the expense of which our heart beats. But lately, we have been hearing more and more about such things as therapeutic fasting or interval fasting. What will happen if we give up food for a few days? What processes will take place? And yet, is it useful or harmful? In fact, the answer is very complicated and sometimes unexpected because some processes will benefit us, while some other processes may be harmful to us. How to figure it all out, we will answer in this video. Therefore, watch this video to the end. It will be very interesting and useful. Friends, before we start, we recommend subscribing to our channel, where you will find even more useful videos about health, youth, and longevity. And also turn on the bell so as not to miss new, useful releases. So, let's imagine that we abruptly refuse to eat and do not consume anything. What will begin to happen in our body? Day 1. At the very beginning, our body will actively use energy reserves. First of all, it is glycogen. Glycogen is a special molecule where 1 gram of glucose is mixed with 4 grams of water. Half of the glycogen is stored in our liver and the other half in our muscles. In total, an average of 400 grams of glycogen is stored in the body of an adult. Although in fact it very much depends on how we actively engage in sports, since even 1 kilogram of glycogen can be in the muscles of an active athlete. These supplies are about enough for the first day of the hunger strike. It is worth noting that glycogen is the most affordable source of energy that the body begins to use in the very first place. As long as our body uses glycogen, we will not experience significant moral suffering. That is, we will not have such great weakness and discomfort. And this does not directly affect intellectual and physical performance yet, but what will happen next? Day 2. As a rule, after the first day of an absolute hunger strike, glycogen reserves, that is, the most readily available energy, are excised and the body begins to switch to the use of fat deposits. At this point, our hunger begins to increase and our performance begins to fall. We may notice that we are already thinking a little less cheerfully, and the energy and desire to run somewhere is also less, but nevertheless, there is still no significant threat to health. The third day of the hunger strike. After 3 or 4 days, our intense hunger begins to dull. This is a protective, evolutionary mechanism. That's what nature has taught us. In the first days when we don't finish eating, we really start to feel very hungry. The brain sends a signal that you need to go eat something urgently, otherwise you may starve to death. But if we wait out the first 3 days, then the body begins to understand that there is no food anyway. Apparently hungry times have come, so there is probably no point in torturing ourselves with excessive hunger since there is no food anyway. So I will dull the feeling of hunger. This is how our brain reacts. After the glycogen reserves have run out, and after the body has started using our most accessible fat cells, our muscle tissues also begin to connect to the process of catabolism. The body weight continues to plummet, and in addition to fat, of course, we also lose muscle mass. And here, the famous ketone bodies begin to be produced. This process is often called ketosis. Ketone bodies are actively produced precisely in the process of using adipose tissue to provide energy to the body. And if you go to get tested on the 4th or 5th day, you will see that there will be a lot of ketone bodies in our blood. On the one hand, someone perceives this as a positive signal, considering that it means that the hunger strike really works and fats are really burned. But on the other hand, it can also be harmful to the health of our body. Some people's blood pressure starts to drop very much after a few days of hunger strike. As a result, of course, a person does not have the strength and concentration for anything at all. and sometimes people even faint. Friends, before we continue, we ask you to click on the like button and write any comment under the video. This will help promote this video and benefit even more people. Thank you for your support. The 7th day. After a person has not consumed a single gram of food for a week, the body has already completely used up both glycogen and easily accessible fat cells and easily accessible muscle cells. That is, we can say that after a week of hunger strike, the body begins to literally eat itself, including using tissue and vital organs for its own nutrition, such as, for example, the liver and heart. It sounds creepy, of course, but in fact, everything is very individual here. If someone had a significant amount of energy, a large fat and muscle layer, then this week will be relatively easy for him. If the person was initially thin, then serious problems can really start here from the second week. The second and third weeks of the hunger strike. The symptoms of starvation begin to worsen significantly and the state of health deteriorates. There will be noticeable muscle atrophy. The man will obviously become very thin and weak. Difficulties with the musculoskeletal system will begin. Even the heart rate will slow down a lot. From subjective feelings, a starving person will feel that he is very cold and as if he is freezing all the time. Of course, a person will have severe problems with concentration, and even his eyesight will begin to fall. After a month of fasting, due to the fact that a person has a very strong lack of thiamine or vitamin B1, as it is also called, a person will have double vision and dizziness will begin. If a hunger strike has been going on for more than 6 weeks, then this is already a direct and very serious threat to human life. He will hardly be conscious and will hardly react to what is happening around him. Very often, when a person has completely used up the reserves of all his vitamins and minerals, he begins to suffer from scurvy or jaundice. Some people may even lose their eyesight and become deaf at this stage. And after 6 weeks of fasting, a person can die either from heart failure or from excessive intoxication. Therefore, it is certainly not recommended to starve for several weeks, and you do not need to do this. On the other hand, small short fasting sessions for half a day or for 1 day or at least for 2 days can take place safely or even with benefits for the body. Of course, in everything, it is necessary to know the measure and listen to your condition. Friends, write in the comments, have you tried fasting? And how did this affect your body? Share your experience in the comments. It will be a very interesting read for all of us. If this video was useful to you, then click the like button and share the link with your friends. We also recommend that you watch these 2 previous videos that appeared on your screen.